Going to the PlayStation announcement, obviously last spring, we launched 4 games, 2 of them on the Switch, 4 of them on PlayStation, and we said we're going to learn. We said we'd watch, and I think at Showcase, I might have said from our learning, we're going to do more. What I see when I look is our franchises are getting stronger. Our Xbox console players are as high this year as they've ever been.
Amazing.
So I look at it and I say, okay, our player numbers are going up for the console platform. Our franchises are as strong as they've ever been, and we run a business.
Welcome to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be doing something different. Today, I'm going to be talking about Microsoft, Xbox to be specific. I've owned an Xbox, I've owned a PlayStation, Nintendo, and even a Steam Deck. I've been through it all, and every device has its own benefits. Without further ado, let's talk about...
Fuck a pigeonhole, I'm a night owl, it's a different mode. I'ma have to make a paint of 6 on a pinky toe. Heard you with a shooting guard, just let a nigga know. I would have you courtside, not the middle row. All good love in a minute though.
Like, it's definitely true inside of Microsoft. The bar is high for us in terms of the delivery that we have to give back to the company.
I'm going to start with the big one right out the gate, the thing that everyone mentions, exclusives. One of the most important things in gaming are exclusives. Every system has them. Nintendo has Mario and Zelda, PlayStation has The Last of Us and God of War, Xbox has Halo, and Avowed, I guess. That's the thing. Xbox doesn't really have many great exclusives. To be clear, they don't exactly need many great exclusives, they just need a couple phenomenal ones. Now clearly Xbox is leaning towards the anti-exclusive era, which is fine, it's very pro-consumer and I like that. But here's the thing, Nintendo and PlayStation will absolutely never do this. If you don't know, Xbox has been shifting their console exclusives to the quote-unquote competition. Games like Halo, Gears of War, Forza, and even Indiana Jones will all be coming to PlayStation. If not now, they eventually will. Now what does this mean for Xbox? Well, it means a lot more money, like a lot more. As I said before, I like the idea from a money standpoint, but what does it mean for the fans of Xbox? Well, ultimately Xbox users are asking the question most people have been asking for years. Why get an Xbox? What's the point? Xbox didn't have many exclusives either way, but you take away all of them, an Xbox is basically useless inside the eyes of gamers. While PlayStation and Nintendo get all of Xbox games, Xbox users don't get any of PlayStation's. Besides Death Stranding years later, I can't say enough of how much of a good move this is from a money standpoint. But Xbox has to know that this will only cause more Xbox users to jump ship, or even worse, just not buy an Xbox. As much as I wish all games were available on every platform, I can't help but admit that exclusives are a big part of gaming. They create competition and drive in sales for certain companies like PlayStation. Now I personally have never bought a console solely due to its exclusives. The Last of Us is my second favorite game of all time, but it's not like I bought my PS3 for that game, I already had one. Starfield kinda made me want an Xbox, I thought it looked cool I guess, but exclusives have never driven me to a console. But I can definitely see why it can for others, especially when your direct competition has no exclusive even close to your worst exclusive in the past decade. Obviously I'm not being literal, of course I'm referring to the success of the game, not necessarily the quality, as that is subjective. Going off the top of my head, when I got my PS5, I remember one of the first games I played was Returnal. Very underrated game, never finished as it was a very difficult game. Xbox Series first console exclusive I think was Halo Infinite, which got a lot of hate, but I personally liked the online mode. Halo to me is like God of War, really popular games that I just can never get into. Anyway, the point I'm getting at is that Xbox's biggest exclusive being Halo doesn't compare to PlayStation's, I don't know, bottom 4 exclusives. Xbox has Forza, Halo, Hellblade, Fable, Starfield, and Gears, plus a couple others. PlayStation has God of War, The Last of Us, and Spider-Man. I can end the PlayStation list right there, and it still blows Xbox's exclusives out of the water. Look, I know I look like a PlayStation fanboy, which is fine, I love PlayStation, but I also love Xbox, I just want to see them compete again. Xbox's most recent big exclusive was Starfield, a game that got good to okay reviews. I liked it, but it wasn't that phenomenal game they needed. It's definitely a step in the right direction. The game is fun for what it is. Many people complain about the whole 1,000 planets thing. When I heard about a character customizer, spaceships, futuristic guns, and over 1,000 planets to travel to, I was ecstatic. Obviously most of these planets were reskins or just very empty. Maybe if the game had 100 planets instead of 1,000, people would probably appreciate it more. The planets would have more depth and uniqueness to it. The game isn't bad, but it could be much better. Overall, I'd rate the game a 7.5, a great exclusive but not phenomenal. Xbox needs a game on the level as Spider-Man, or The Last of Us, or God of War. They need a Now, obviously, this isn't a task that comes easy. Xbox has a lot of games coming up. As I said, Starfield was a good start. Avowed is also good progress. I tried it out on Game Pass. It was very much not for me as much as I thought it would be. It has a character customizer, and any game with that in it is bound to attract me. But I won't say the game is bad, just not for me. Similar to Elden Ring, just not my cup of tea. I'll probably end up trying it out again eventually. Hellblade 2 won a couple of awards. It was a cool game, best graphics in the console space definitely, though it is basically a lot of walking and watching. So South of Midnight is an upcoming game I'm also really excited for. Looks dope, the art style is unique, and the gameplay looks fun. All these games are good, or have the potential to be good, but as I said, we need phenomenal. Though I will admit South of Midnight could definitely be that. Only time will tell. Notice I didn't mention Indiana Jones. Well, I didn't mention it not because it's going to PlayStation, but because it's not an original IP, which is fine. Actually, I encourage it. PlayStation has Spider-Man and soon to be Wolverine. I cannot fathom why Xbox has never decided to make a game based on a popular superhero. Like, they have Blade coming, but to be honest, that's Blade. PlayStation is doing Wolverine and Spider-Man, and probably more. Blade is a good start though, makes me feel like they are finally being smart with their games. Why doesn't Xbox do Batman, or Superman, or hell even a lesser known popular character like Robin or Starfire or something? They could make so much money. It seems Xbox is going the cheaper route, which is smart. I get it, but at least more story-driven adventure games. I would love a zombie apocalypse game. Yes, everyone would just call it a Last of Us ripoff, but PlayStation didn't create zombie-based games. They could make a medieval game, anything, with great characters and story. Their only story-based game truly is Hellblade. The others are RPG or simulators. They could be doing so much more. Not saying Starfield or Avowed have no story, but I mean like how Horizon or even Death Stranding has a story and uniqueness to it. Now I know this whole topic is useless because Xbox is clearly moving in a different direction. Doom is Doom, people love it, but it also will be coming to PlayStation I think day one. Fable is a game I am most excited for from Xbox. It looks great, but unfortunately it has been delayed to 2026. Fable has the potential to truly be that phenomenal game. A new Halo game is also due, but we probably won't see that until the next Xbox, which is slated to release in 2027. Actually, to stay on the topic about the If you haven't heard, Xbox is planning to release a new Xbox in the year 2027. This is a very bold move on Xbox's part. Console sales are declining. At the time of this video, Xbox Series X and S have sold around 30 million units. Now compared to PlayStation's 75 million units, that's obviously horrible. Now this isn't to start a console war. I honestly don't care how many Xboxes or PlayStations are sold. It means nothing to me as I'm a fan of both. I just happen to always root for the underdog. Now looking at 30 million consoles sold, not terrible. I mean 2024 on the other hand was pretty bad, selling only 3 million consoles in the US. Obviously horrible for Xbox. They released a white Xbox Series X 1TB, a beautiful custom black with green outlines Xbox Series X 2TB. Now the thing with these Xboxes, one is about 450 and the other is about 600, not including tax. The Series S on the other hand is 350, but it's less powerful and doesn't support 4K gaming. With all that being said, despite the terrible 2024 and down generation, Xbox is moving forward with releasing a next generation console. Why? believe this will definitely be the last console Xbox release. There's also reportedly a handheld Xbox releasing later this year. I heard that it won't be an actual Xbox handheld, such as the PSP or the Nintendo devices, which is absolutely stupid. I'm sorry, but I don't understand why they are doing this. It's basically a Steam Deck, which are absolutely great devices and you should buy one. I'm gonna try to hold off criticizing the handheld though until it's actually revealed. They could do something unique, we'll just have to see. The next Xbox is rumored to be able to run Steam somehow. Of course, this is a big thing because if Xbox could somehow play Steam games, they would also be able to play PlayStation games, since PlayStation games usually release on Steam. Titles like Spider-Man, The Last of Us, and God of War have already made their way to Steam. Now I'm gonna be straightforward and say this will never happen. I don't know why or how Xbox could do this, but there is no way Sony would ever even allow this to happen. Ever. Funny thing about it all is that PlayStation could release all their games on Xbox, make more money, and it wouldn't really affect their console sales at all. They could have put Lego Horizon on Xbox, it wouldn't have hurt them at all. It's funny because while Xbox is shipping their games to PlayStation, PlayStation is actively and deliberately keeping them from Xbox for no reason other than PlayStation is like Apple and Xbox is Android. They both are really great platforms and virtually offer the same things, but Apple is cooler and just more popular. I will say, yes, the title of my video is How Do They Win, but that's not me saying how do they win against PlayStation, because they never will. It's over. PlayStation could put every exclusive on Xbox day one. They could price their base consoles at $600. They could not release a game for years. They could literally raise PlayStation Plus membership to $100 a month, and they will still be over Xbox. That's just what it is. Xbox shouldn't be trying to beat PlayStation, and it seems if they were, they definitely aren't anymore. I want Xbox to compete with PlayStation, of course, but that shouldn't be their goal. Their next Xbox should be the generation of games. It won't, but it should be. If they do try this Steam thing, one big positive I think they should really mess with is trying to get mods to work on it. I know it's much more to it than that, but mods on console would literally be a game changer. Lots of people, such as myself, aren't willing to spend thousands on a PC. Don't get me wrong, the performance is cool, but I don't need 150 frames per second with 8K resolution and blah blah blah. I only care for the cool mods. Seriously, Xbox, give me mods on console and my life is yours! Honestly though, if the next Xbox could play Steam games and basically be a less powerful PC, I don't see why they can't get a big win. Again, they will never be as big or successful as PlayStation, in terms of gaming of course, but they could definitely be in a much better position than they are at this moment. The Xbox Series X, if I'm being completely honest, in my humble opinion, is better than the PS5, just as a console. I like the UI better, though that might be a hot take. I like the controller better, which also might be a hot take. A lot of people talk about the haptic feedback, and okay, sure, I personally turned it off about a month after using it. It's cool for certain games, but honestly it gets super annoying. There's rumors Xbox new controller will adopt this feature, and I can't wait to turn it off on there also. The design, I go with the PS5 as it looks cooler, but I think the Xbox design is better if that makes sense. Xbox also has quick resume, and let me say this, quick resume is the greatest and most advanced next-gen feature by far. Like, I don't know how this isn't talked about more. Quick resume is the best thing about next-gen, period. The fact that you can jump between games and pick up exactly where you left off even if your console is off is absolutely amazing. I wish PlayStation had this feature. PlayStation Plus is cool, but obviously Game Pass is Game Pass. Don't think mini subscriptions can really compete with that. Speaking of Game Pass, Xbox's biggest draw. Whether you like the idea of subscription services and not owning games, Game Pass is clearly the future of Xbox. Some feel as if Xbox has prioritized Game Pass over actual games. Obviously this is not the case, as Xbox has released Starfield, Indiana Jones, Hellblade 2, Avowed, and other games that whether you love them or not, are majority thought of to be, if not great, at least good games, all released day one on Game Pass Ultimate tier, along with Black Ops 6. Now here's the thing about that. PlayStation doesn't do this for their subscription. Xbox does. Xbox can afford to do this. PlayStation cannot. PlayStation spends hundreds of millions of dollars on their games. Xbox does not, or at least it doesn't seem like it. but I wouldn't be surprised. Black Ops Cold War reportedly cost over $700 million to make, which is absolutely insane, but no doubt they make that money back every year with a new game. Anyway, Xbox has to know that putting their games on Game Pass day one is going to significantly decrease the sales of said games. I still appreciate this. As a fan, it's definitely awesome to get day one huge games on Game Pass, but as for Xbox, I don't see how they think they will make a lot of money by doing this. Good for fans, good for subscribers, but not that great for sales of games. Now, Xbox is Microsoft, and Microsoft has the money, no doubt, but you gotta think there is worry in the room the way they are currently going. Game Pass is clearly here to stay. Game Pass is clearly a priority for them. As it should, it's a success and it's the best deal in gaming in my eyes. The only way Game Pass could get even bigger is by putting it on PlayStation. The amount of money and subscribers they would see would be absolutely insane. But of course, PlayStation would never allow this, which again, to me is just so funny. Xbox literally promised to let PlayStation keep Call of Duty for at least 10 years in order to complete the Activision deal. PlayStation, if legally allowed to do so, would absolutely never do this. They would make Call of Duty an exclusive the moment the deal went through. PlayStation absolutely hates Xbox with a passion. Xbox, on the other hand, is trying their hardest to get something from PlayStation, literally anything. Game Pass on PlayStation would be nothing for Sony. Their console sales won't drop because of it. They would actually increase, I believe, and they'd make more money. I'm not saying PlayStation should allow PlayStation games to be on Game Pass, as I believe that would actually negatively affect them. But come on, Sony, let the hate go. Game Pass is in a good enough state overall to continue succeeding. It could also be the death of what's left of Xbox. For Game Pass, a couple more games and less removing good ones, and it would be perfect. But remember folks, you don't own a thing. As for my Xbox could be in a much better position if they capitalize. As most of my videos seem to be just ranting instead of explaining, I'd like to say that Xbox could win if they make bigger and better exclusives, if they focus on games and gaming, stop trying to compete with PlayStation, go at your own pace, make quality games with interesting stories and gameplay. South of Midnight looks great, Doom looks good, Fable looks like it could be a masterpiece. It may not be recognized as one, as the main character is a girl who people find unattractive, so the hate will come, as it will for any game that has a female main character. I personally never cared about gender, race, or how pretty a video game character is. It means nothing to me, but that's just the world we live in now. Push through. You will never be PlayStation or even Nintendo. They run gaming, but focus on making your platform a force. This Steam Xbox 2027 rumor sounds insane. That would be a game changer. I finally finished the script for this video and thought to myself, there's a lot of opinions in this video. I'd love to hear your opinions. Hate or love, doesn't matter. Let me know if you agree or let me know what you think Xbox should do. As always, thanks for watching and more videos to come.